Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Walking Dead All Out War Terrain. And in today's episode we're going to be doing wrecked cars. So we're going to be turning this 143 scale car, very cheap, easy car. We're going to be turning this into a monstrosity that looks like this. See? Also, get a closer look. Also, that's why I said in the previous episode to make a bunch of these cardboard boxes. You can stick them on like this. It just adds a little bit more to the set piece, but free of choice. You don't have to do it, of course. But yeah, this car, this wreckage. So follow me to the crafting table and let's get to it, guys. Alright? Let's begin. So first, get our car out of the box. See? Now we're gonna have to take it apart first. Now you can use a screwdriver or a pin or something. I have this, and what we have to do is simply pull this loose a little bit. Don't be too afraid that you trash it. Just unhook it. So yeah, simply go underneath it. For all that I care, if it breaks a little, I don't really mind. Some cars come apart easier than others, but yeah, there we go. See, this is the thing that was attached. Doesn't matter if I break it, I don't care. So basically, take out the interior. Also, maybe remove the glass if you prefer to. And with the previous car, it went so easy, and now that I'm making a video, of course, it's not going that easy, which is obviously okay. Voila, there we go, finally. Now, for the license plates and everything, you can simply cut it off or push them out. I don't really care for the license plates, so simply, if I can find my cutter, there we go. Voila, and there we go. So I've disassembled the car, and what we're going to do now is paint this flat black. So we're going to use a spray paint to paint this flat black. I'll be back when that is done. Next, when that is done, you take yourself some burnt umber, a piece of sponge, moisten it, put it on, and start by dabbing it on a lot of the car, basically almost the entire car. Doesn't matter if a little bit of black shines through it. Let me see if I can put on the light a little bit. Yeah, there we go, that's better. Just random patterns and speckles on the entire car. We're gonna rust up this car pretty heavily. So yeah. Just make sure you get about a 95% coverage with a little bit of black shining through. Set that aside to dry. Now do the same with a little bit of burnt sienna. Sponge, moisten it, take your car, and start by dabbing it. Don't worry if some places look a little too much, don't worry about that. Doesn't have to be that much of a coverage like with the burnt umber, but make sure you get a good, nice, solid coverage like this. And let that dry as well. Now mix a little bit of ochre, simple ochre color. Dab that
here, and very small taps here and there, as you can see. Not too much, here and there. I'll let that dry. It will look like this now. See? Just simply splashed on some ochre spots. Randomly. Now let this dry as well. Last, you grab yourself some silver. Some silver. Same deal. Moisten it up. A little bit more moist. Take the silver. And sprinkle it on the car just like you did previously. See? Let's continue this and I'll be back when this is done. Okay, and now your car will look like this. See? Pure metal with some rust seeping through. Now what remains is I'm gonna do this car a light blue, so I'm simply taking some blue and mixing a little bit of white. So I got this nice light blue color, and I'm stippling this also on the car. And let that dry. I also went over it again with a little bit of more of a burnt umber to make the rust appear a little bit more. Now what I'm going to do is simply take some watered down burnt umber, very watered down, and simply go across the windows, dirty them up actually, so you get those dirty stale windows. So what I did then was place the windows back in, as you can see, and also put the interior back inside. I went over it with dabs of a darker blue to give it the appearance like this, and as you can see, so to me this actually looks like a rusted car. See, just a little bit of darker blue, dab it upon the same way we did before. And now what we're gonna do is I went and cut a piece of tin cardstock for a base. So simply cut it in the type of shape that you want. Now what we're gonna do is reattach the wheels. Now another thing I did, as you see, I simulated a flat tire. The way I did it, I used a lighter, but kids, if you're gonna make this, don't use a lighter, just use some clay to simulate a flat tire, okay? Or ask your parents or an older brother or sister to do that, because it's dangerous, okay? So what I do is I simply make sure your place is rather ventilated for the fumes. I heat up the plastic and press it down. See? careful not to burn yourself. Just press it down and your tires will look flat. See? It will give that a little bit of detail, but it gives that extra touch. Now, for the kids who are gonna do this, don't use the lighter, okay? I'm gonna show you something. So just take a little bit of simple clay and press that. The only difference is when you do it this way, you're gonna have to paint it, of course. Just make sure that you first of all do it on the right side of the tire and squish it down. See? It will not have that same effect, but you can simulate it this way as well, and then simply press it down a little bit. Once you get that painted up, it will look flat as well. Okay, now I'm not gonna do that. I'm simply using the lighter trick, but I'm just showing you for any kids out there, don't use a lighter because you will get burned probably, so be careful with that, okay? But I did use the lighter trick, but you can do it with clay as well. So next thing we're gonna do, I also put the inside back in, is put this thing back together. Just make sure you get the flat tires on this side, and then we're gonna put that back in and hot glue it to our base. Once you've assembled them, and in my case it didn't click together all that well, so I used some hot glue inside. Next we're gonna do is hot glue this to our base. Let's put some hot glue down on the car, just even a little bit on the wheels. Just make sure the flat side is at the bottom. Turn it around a little bit. Sorry, I was on camera. And then we simply stick this down to our cardboard base. See? Like this. And as you can see, the flat side of the wheels are on the base. Okay. Next thing we're gonna do is simply take our structure paint and we're gonna paint the base with the structure paint. Simply grab a brush and start by painting the base. Okay, make sure you go underneath the car as well. If you don't have any structure paint, just use some construction sand to dump the the cardstock base in with the white glue. Let that dry and paint over that, or put some construction sand in your gray paint and mix that up. That'll work as well. Okay, so when that is done, just simply let that dry. Just let that dry. And then in the meantime, you can grab yourself a miniature trash bag and a miniature cardboard box. You know, we made that in the previous video. And we're gonna be looking for a place where we can glue them. If you want to do that, simply take some of my white glue and put it on the bottom of the cardboard box base. I'm simply gonna glue that down here. I'm going to do the same with the trash bag. Put the glue down and stick it wherever you guys prefer. Put that down. Next, what we're going to do is I'm grabbing myself a bag of moss. Just take an amount of moss and we're going to be gluing that on the car. So must envision where you want it. I'm gonna simply put some of the white glue down like this. Just do it with white glue and grab your moss. stick that down. Just press it down like this. Then also we're gonna take some watered down PVA. Stir it up a little bit. Some watered down PVA. And start by dabbing it onto the moss so it will harden. Just like this. It will dry clear, so don't worry about the car. Just dab that on the moss, everywhere you find the moss. Start by, and you can apply a rather liberal coat of this because you don't want it to fall off in play. So yeah, just put a good amount of watered down PVA down, okay? Then find some areas, just dab a little bit of watered PVA down where you want to put some flocking on there. You don't have to go overboard with that. Just you can even apply the flocking onto the moss a little bit. And simply take the car, dab the flocking off, and then while it's still drying, put some drops of the watered down PVA on the flock, so it will cure and harden. Like this. And basically we are almost done. Next thing I do propose is you let this dry for a few hours before continuing. Put a little bit more here, like so. There we go. It's okay if it's at the bottom as well, doesn't matter. Voila. Okay, now what I suggest is you let this dry. I'll quickly show you at the moment what it looks like. See? So for the moment, let this dry. Okay? What you can do in the meantime while it's drying is grab yourself a little bit of white paint and a small, very small brush. And we're going to be painting the headlights white. Just be very gentle. Be careful with this. That you don't overspill. Doesn't need to be much, but see, just paint them white. And now let everything dry for a few hours. Okay, so in the meantime everything is dry, most of it basically. What I'm gonna do next is I made a pre-wash. Is basically what I did is I took some burnt umber and a little bit of black and watered that down substantially, and we're simply gonna, well, dab it across the trash bag and the base. There we go. As you can see, I'll be back when that is done. Once you've done the base, just take a little bit of the wash and use it to highlight some of the details of the car, like the handles and things like that. Spread it over it, smear it out so it just basically covers or highlights some pieces. And when that is done, you can simply let it dry and your car is basically almost done. One thing I like to prefer to do is take a little bit of this, the blood of the blood god, and, well, splatter some blood on it. Because it is a zombie game after all, so simply take a little bit of the blood, dab it on some places, a little bit on the base, some smears maybe all over the car, the windshield. Just apply it randomly. Don't have to go overboard with this, but some splashes here and there are nice effects to put on the car. And we're done. See if I can get a good light for this. See? So yeah, our car. Wrecked car. So yeah, thanks for watching. How to make this. I'm quickly gonna put this on a little bit of some scenery to show you how it looks like in play. So here we have our car with a few walkers standing on it, next to it, and Michonne on top of the car. Here is the other one I've made. So yeah, basically that's how it looks in play. As you can see. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more to come. Alright guys, this was Kenneth, Alretian of the Modern Terrain Craft, giving you another video of the All Out War Walking Dead, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks guys, see you next time, bye.